What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Practical channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Apparently, this particular move by Xbox is one that has been spoken about for a little bit and everyone has moved on. However, we really need to go ahead and consider what I think is, the ramification of something like this. Not saying that we have any data sets or we will have any data set. In fact, the fact that we will not have any data set or need to have data sets simply because of the plethora of opportunity that's been given to more players to play Xbox because of this Amazon Fire Stick that is now basically going to be a de facto Xbox device, I think makes it a little bit more interesting at the end of the day. This is basically, in my opinion, something that has also taken the gaming thing one step further. Because not only are we going to be sitting here looking at, say, the cloud system or whatnot, but we're also going to have access, in my opinion anyways, to, Xbox basically putting itself out there. That's basically the interesting thing about it. Like, you get a Fire Stick, you're able to play a few Xbox games, and maybe by the time, you're deciding, okay, maybe I want to buy myself a device or buy myself a console, I can just carry my library and dial into the Xbox ecosystem. I would recommend you buy a PC because then you get that ecosystem and you get a lot more with it. But the reality is here, and it appears that this is a strategy that Xbox has always wanted to take. And I always wondered why they were so conservative about it. I was like, well, if you guys are sucking at console sales, why not just go crazy with other things like cloud? Because the infrastructure and everything they had, they had basically the technology, everything was already in place. We had cell phones that could actually do it. Now we're getting more and more handheld devices. I think that's probably where it is that, we're probably going. Now, if this is where Xbox, basically is moving to in, say, this particular year, we have to expect more and more of these kinds of things going on. Potentially, I think the next step might be Xbox making its own handheld platform. But I see a lot of people talking about, but nobody's really looking at, say, how much it's going to, take them to basically add another hardware piece to themselves. Potentially, the rumor that we heard about Steam coming to Xbox could possibly be a Game Pass deal going to Steam. Now, I know this may sound crazy, like why would Steam want Game Pass on there? But remember, EA Play has a Steam version for it. So it's not against, Steam to, push away subscription services. At the end of the day, Valve does not make, Valve has refused to make any games lately. They're probably going to make maybe another game for some kind of a demo or whatnot. But we do have, subscription services. Well, the one subscription service anyways, EA Play, that has made its way to that ecosystem. Perhaps we might be in a position to go ahead and see something like a Game Pass make its way there and then now leverage the hardware that is already existing. Because now, say the Rogue Ally, the Lenovo Legion, these are now, basically Xbox devices and possible Game Pass devices. Steam, on the other hand, requires a kind of a workaround to be able to get your Game Pass subscription on there. But if there was a partnership that went on, they can then add more in terms of just using other people's hardware to run their own services. And I think this is something that basically has them in a position where they can leapfrog Sony and PlayStation at the end of the day. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about this very briefly. I thought there was not enough in terms of, people highlighting the potential and the way this can actually web itself out, because it seems like Xbox is more interested about making everybody else's console or everybody else's device their own, proxy platform, and then just basically keeping quiet about their own devices. They're going to still keep making devices, obviously. I mean, they've made more, I think they've made, how many Xbox consoles are there right now? They made the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X. They have the Xbox Series S. They have the regular Xbox. So they have more Xbox Series consoles in terms of variations than PlayStation currently does. So I see a lot of people saying that their console is done and all that stuff. No, 27 million is not a small amount of, consoles to sell. So they still will continue with that particular, pattern. But in order for them to be able to meet up the remaining, 27 million to catch up with Sony, if that's the case, because they just need people coming and buying software on their platforms, then they need to go out there and get it. And I think they already are positioned to get it. With the Fire Stick, with, Game Pass and all of the other things that they're going to be doing and potentially a Steam move, man, I think Sony is going to really find itself with a pile of electronics that may not necessarily translate to, you know, what success will mean in these next few years in the gaming industry. But, you know, we're yet to see how they respond. And it's going to be interesting overall to see this whole thing play itself out. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.